to entertain your chickens and build compost. Say hi. Good morning, beautiful people. As you can see, we're having a snapping party. Not to be confused with a snacking party, which when you said, hey, we're after breakfast, we're going to have a snapping party, and a couple of them perked up and went, snacks?
Snacking party?
Bunch of hobbits. All right, so sadly, I will not be participating in this snapping party. I'm going to go outside and play on the tractor.
Go have fun with your tractor.
I mean fun, but there's going to be a lot of sweating involved.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe some throwing of chickens.
With the tractor?
No, not with the tractor,
okay.
but I know they're going to want to get in my way. I'll show you guys.
All right.
So, all right, I'll leave you guys to it.
Okay.
Got the water, got the key. I'll show you what I'm doing. Sorry, ducks, you're going to have to move. Ah, people. Me too, duck. Me too. Most antisocial animal you've ever seen when it comes to people. They love ducks. All right, so as you can see, I said this, if you've been with us and you watch on the regular, thank you. The other day I said they've completely destroyed their habitat, which they have. It's time to either move them or do something. So the something that I'm going to do, rather than just move the net to a new quadrant and give them, you know, some grass to eat, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to just having the chicken yard. So what I have done in the past that works really good is you have to give them something to do. You can confine them to a yard, but if you are not giving your chickens something to do, it's honestly a terrible way to raise them. So the reason I've had this open and I give them something to do is so they don't start eating each other or whatever. So what I'm going to do in here, if you guys remember from a couple years ago, building a compost pile in your chicken coop is actually a great way to entertain your chickens and build compost. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get in here, clean out. I don't know why there's boards and stuff in there. Maybe they're remodeling, but I'm gonna pick up in here, get everything cleaned up. I'm gonna lock them in there so I can actually get in here and not have to worry about chickens leaving. I'm gonna take this net down. The reason I gotta take this net down, the little net that we have for Jack's ducks, they can just escape from. This net would be a lot harder for them to escape. So I'm gonna give him this net, see if that works, see if his ducks will, you know, stay in. Not these ones. These are the new additions. So yeah, that's the plans for that net, and it kind of coincided perfectly with getting a wood chipper, having a supply of wood chips, needing compost. We always need compost. I don't think we'll ever not need compost. I'm gonna go see if I have a roll. I think I do down in the barn, a roll of 1-inch hardware cloth. That would be perfect to make a circle, and then I can fill that with wood chips and grass clippings and whatever else I've got. I'm gonna get started. All right, I'll correct that shape once I start putting stuff in there. I can make it nice and round. I actually wish it was a little bit bigger. I could make it bigger, but we're gonna try this for now. Anytime I've done a compost pile in here before, I literally just pile stuff on the ground. It's worked all right in the past, but I'm gonna try this method. I've seen Billy over at Permapasture's farm. He does his chicken tractor on steroids, and it's basically this. Low enough to where chickens can get into it. and you feed them on this. You just encourage them to scratch in this. What I'm gonna do after we get it filled up with a lot of the carbon stuff, I'm gonna grab a whole bunch of green stuff and just chop, pick it up. I've got all the stuff that I weed eated yesterday that's still pretty green on the ground. I'm gonna rake everything up, make a couple wheelbarrow loads, and just put everything I can in here. And then basically, as they scratch it out, they're turning it, we'll come back and we'll flip it and turn it and do all that good stuff. This is a whole bunch of brooder material, basically a whole bunch of sawdust, and it's just bedding, spent bedding. I'm gonna put this in here first. So I've seen a whole bunch of soldier flies flying around this. If you look, see all the movement?
That's a ton of soldier
That's
flies.
a ton of soldier fly larvae.
That's gonna be good for chickens.
Yeah, so just sitting here in the sun, the soldier flies have found it, and there's soldier fly larvae everywhere. Look at that, soldier fly larvae, soldier fly larvae. These chickens are gonna love this. There's some stuff in there that's actually composting. Look at that.
Yeah.
And that's all kudzu vine. So I did actually get enough in there to start composting, but it was right smack dab in the middle of the pile. I was tired of it being so like fluffy, so I actually smashed it with the tractor to kind of get it compressed because it was too woody. And it looks like right in the middle, it was starting to compost. Like it's all starting to break down. I jumped the gun. It wasn't a total fail. It was actually doing its thing. All right, there's all the kudzu and the bedding. Now I'm gonna add wood chips, but first, this is all kind of light and airy. That's why I waited to water. I'm gonna water this in now and then start adding the wood chips, and I'll wet those too. But I didn't wanna wet this and be standing in here in muddy chicken dirt. Brett is dragging me a hose, and then Corbin's gonna bring over the lawnmower with the wagon, and I'll start offloading all the wood chips. There we have it. I'm actually quite happy. Had the wood chips that I've made thus far, plus my sort of failed attempt at tractor composting. To compost with a tractor, you have to have a lot of stuff to put in it. All right, I think the only thing I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go around and rake up some of the grass clippings from yesterday, put those on top, and that'll be like super incentive for the chickens to start scratching right here. There's some really good stuff I weed eated yesterday that I thought would go great in a compost pile anyways. There's some dock, there's some comfrey, plenty of plantain, all sorts of good stuff. Good old comfrey, chickens will love that. All right, I'm actually quite proud of that. That is a lot of compost. I'll have to do the calculation, but that's about 5 feet round by, that was a 2-foot roll. So whatever the math is, I'm not gonna do that off the top of my head. I'm sure somebody will figure it out like that. All right, I'm going to let them out and we're done. They're all like parked on the door. I pulled this off and they fall out. Come on, chickens. We'll see how long it takes them to jump in. Well, they're interested with the stuff on the ground. Not the stuff in the thing. They'll figure it out. Nancy, you klutz. All right, ladies, have at it. All right, now that I'm done with that compost pile, there is actually one more thing that I need to do today. It's kind of a short list. Who am I kidding? It's never a short list. So, one of the things that, oops, dropped it. I'm just gonna quit walking and do my talking. All right, so the bed down here that we tried to grow wheat in, that because of lack of water, it just failed. We've decided we're gonna plant some winter squash over there. So this is the Table King. It's a winter squash. It looks like acorn squash. It says it's 95 to 110 days. We're at about 90 days till our first frost date as of the day I'm filming this. So I'm gonna get the tiller over here, break up this ground a little bit, add some amendments. Just basically, I'm gonna use that whole packet of seed. There's only 25 seeds in there. Maybe not, that would be a lot of plants. Kind of one of those, throw stuff at the wall, see what sticks. We'll see if we can get some winter squash. We really enjoy having winter squash. We've actually got some Cherokee tan pumpkins from last year that are still in there in the kitchen. They've kind of been living in a corner that's close to the AC, so not really in refrigeration, but they've been a little bit colder than the rest of the house. I knew that bug was gonna land on my face. So yeah, we're all about that long shelf life type of squashes. So I'm going to grab the rototiller and the amendments and I'm gonna get started over here. Because I know someone's gonna ask what I dug up before I started. That looks like a little locust tree. We have 0 locust trees growing out here. Aside from what I've brought in, and everything I've brought in is super tiny. So that means that was a seed that a bird dropped, or it was a seed that was somewhere in here. So I dug it up. I'm gonna see if I can stick it somewhere and hopefully it'll grow. If it dies, oh well. I've brought a whole bunch. This fall, they're all going to get planted in the orchard and various places that I need them. A lot of people feel that the black locusts are a major pest, but from the permaculture perspective, those are actually a nice beneficial tree. So, all right, I'm going to put my amendments down and then start raking. Just because I know people will ask, this is Black Lake Organic Optimum Mixes. So this is a natural fertilizer. It's really good stuff. It's got a lot of like other minerals and things in it. Everything we've put this on this year has done amazing. So this is our amendments. This is what we use. I'm gonna get this in the spots I'm gonna make the beds, and then I'm just gonna rake it in. No point in rototilling it in. The walkways don't need to be fertile. All right, we are all planted. I've found, I don't know if it would work for everybody, but it works for us. When planting in hills like this, either make a divot, like a V all the way down the top.
Like a mini trench?
Like a mini trench down the top, and that's what you plant in, or just do divots like this everywhere you plant a seed. And then when you're watering, the water collects where a plant is.
Yeah.
And it's actually worked really good for us.
It has.
All the ones that I've started doing that on, they seem to do better. And when it rains, you've got a little funnel collecting rainwater. I actually think I'm going to wrap it up here. We got stuff we got to go do.
Yep.
And I mean, it's the weekend. Yeah. So I hope everybody has a good weekend. Maybe get a little bit of the itch like we have. Go plant something.
Yeah, there's still lots of time.
Like we're in a zone 7B.
Mm-hmm.
We still got plenty of time to grow stuff. Like we're starting squash. Squash take a pretty good long while.
Do.
So there's still plenty of time. Get some stuff in the ground. Grab a pot. Plant something. Like
grow something.
Just grow something. It's a good way to be, especially today. So we're gonna wrap it up here. We will catch you guys on the next one.
Bye.